Hey, what is going on everyone, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. And today's video is going to be a part 2 to my Road to Masters series. Now in this video here, you're going to see me perform quite a lot of 3-crown victories. Now while I was playing the Gold Rush event and trying to push up to Master 1, I noticed a lot of people were making the same careless mistakes, and honestly it was really funny to see because most people are not familiar with my deck, because again, it's not a standard meta deck. So when you play an off meta deck that actually has a lot of viability, you tend to find some interesting moments where you can just really punish people and they're just genuinely unaware of what is about to happen, and it really makes your day when you can just pull off some really sweet 3-crown victories. So right here you see that I'm in a really sour position right now, where my opponent was able to use his freeze and stuff to basically screw over my Inferno Dragon. Now as you would see here right now, I have my miner going up there with the witch. He overreacts with all the minions and stuff there, but I honestly could not tell how much elixir he had in hand. Now I did have an idea that he was low on elixir, but by the time I was ready to push, he already had 4 elixir for that Inferno Dragon. In fact, he's gonna have roughly 7 elixir by the time I mount my push here. So he's gonna use his Inferno Dragon to burn down my giant. He's gonna zap the goblins and stuff there, which is pretty good value for him. I do get a stab or 2 there on the tower with my goblins, but overall that was not worth it. I really should have pushed at a much faster rate there. If I had not held back for so long, I probably would have gotten a lot more damage. So what I'm about to do right now is I'm gonna send my miner once again to try and get some chip damage. He predicts the miner very accurately there, which is good for him, and now you're gonna see me tilting quite a bit once again. So we get basically no damage there from that push there, and he has that balloon which he has not revealed to me yet, so I'm waiting to see what he does next. He's gonna start off a giant there in the opposite lane so that he'll be applying some pressure there, and I'm a little bit irritated by this because I know what this means. It means that I'll have to be very careful with how I push, and now he has his minions going in the back there which are going to be able to distract my Inferno Dragon, which is why I had to drop that poison. But now he has free reign to use his Inferno Dragon on my own giant there, so I chill out a bit there and I hold back. I didn't want to overcommit any more than I already have there. His balloon does connect to my tower, dealing a lot of damage there. It's really unfortunate for me right now. He's just at such a great advantage, but I quickly capitalize on his investments by pushing forward with my giant, my skeletons, my goblins, and my miner there. We have the Inferno Dragon, we have the witch coming up as supporting units there. We rush in with the goblin gang there, and he cannot stop this for the life of him. My tower is really low on HP, but we're going to quickly defend that goblin gang with our Valkyrie, making mincemeat of them. We're going to shove our giant there in the pocket there, and he cannot stop this overwhelming push. It's overtime, and he was so scared of what was to come, he decided to try to push ahead, but that obviously did not work out for him. So that gives us our first 3-crown victory. Now before I move on folks, I just want to take a minute here. If you guys can, please vote between these 2 cards. Let me know which of these would you prefer to take in battle. Personally, I think the Goblin Giant kind of sucks a little bit, so I'd be leaning towards the regular Giant more often. And in my last poll, which I had a few uploads ago, I would have seen that the Royal Ghost was the more popular choice. So again, before you click away when you're done with this video, make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know exactly which of the 2 cards you would prefer and why. So we're up for match number 2 right now, and we're playing against someone who is going by the name of Mario. So Mario here, he's going to be playing a deck with quite a lot of bait elements to it here. He has the Furnace, he has Minion Horde, he has Goblin Gang, Bats. He's got a lot of bait in general, and it's fairly annoying. He also has the Elite Barbarian, so we're gonna need to keep our Valkyrie handy, but at this point in time, he just rushes the bridge with that knight there, not giving me a chance to recover really there. Thankfully, I had my girl in hand here, otherwise we'd have been in for quite some trouble there. So now we're gonna set back up with our giant and witch push once again. So now that we know what he has basically here, we have a better chance at pushing and know how we should be prioritizing our cards for defense. Now I don't think he revealed the minion hood at this point in time, so if I do end up wasting that poison, you'll just see me regretting it, but I don't think I did that there. What I did here now was just use my Inferno Dragon, and now we have 9 elixir worth of troops there behind our giant there, with the witch continuously spawning her skeletons, which is going to be really great for us right now. He's going to fireball all of those troops there, which is not too bad of a play overall. And right now we're just going to chill a little bit here. We're going to send our miner actually up front while the Inferno Dragon is still alive. We're going to keep 2 of those skeletons alive. We get our Inferno Dragon to lock onto that tower there, and look at this right now, folks. He has no answer to this, and we are able to make quick work of his tower there. We get the minor goblin gang pushed to the king tower there, and we also get a lock with our Inferno Dragon. Now if it wasn't for those fire spirits coming out, we probably would have gotten that king tower down much lower there. So we're looking pretty good right now. 60 seconds left on the clock, and he has to take a tower still. Now I know that tower is pretty much going to die anyhow, so there was no point in trying to overcommit and defend it. So what I'm going to do here right now is try to set back up here again for another push. So we're going to use our Valkyrie actually right here in the middle as he rushed us with the elite barbarians. I'm going to try to set back up another giant, but I ended up overcommitting a little bit there with my goblin gang. I actually should have saved that goblin gang there, to be honest. But anyways, moving on now. So we have now seen the minion horde for the very first time, but he places it on the witch, and the witch was not distracted by anything else. So what does that mean? I can just zap it all down, and now he's just burning through his cards here right now, trying to figure out how to deal with what is coming his way, but he's unable to stop it. The 3-crown was inevitable, so he gives us the thumbs up, and that is that, folks. We 3-crown Mario there. Really easy match there for us overall, and now we can move on to match number 3. So we're playing against someone who's in Legendary League here, and he's playing Hog and Goblin Barrel. So we got to be very careful with that Goblin Barrel, because Goblin Barrel is a bit of a trickier matchup for my deck because I don't have a straight counter like the Log. Thankfully, I guessed right and dropped my Valkyrie right where he dropped his Goblin Gang, so that allowed me to effectively just negate his entire push there. Now, he does have the minions here, which is going to be really annoying for me, so I just set up with a Witch here, and he pushes the opposite lane with his Hog Rider and Goblin Gang. Now, this was really unfortunate for me here, folks. He zaps down my Goblin Gang as well there, allowing him to get a lot of damage done, but this is not going to stop us from pushing up front with our giant here. So we have our giant witch push going at that tower there, and he's going to ready that mini P.E.K.K.A. to butcher our witch here, which is really unfortunate for us. I deal with his princess here really easily with the miner, but now here is where the trouble begins. Despite having gotten a decent amount of damage done there on that tower, he's going to throw that goblin barrel in the back once again here. There's nothing I can do at this point in time but sit back and take all of that damage there. So that was a really lucrative push for him. I didn't have any other way of dealing with that ideally, so I just had to live with that damage. Now he's getting ready with his Hog Rider once again. What am I going to do here, folks? I think the best thing to do here would be to use our Inferno Dragon, because once he burns that zap, I'll be able to push forward with my giant witch push once again, and this time I will be ready for that mini P.E.K.K.A. and also the princess, because I'll be able to predict the princess as soon as she deploys, because most people, they tend to deploy the princess in the same spot over and over and over again. I mean, it literally is the best thing to do to place her in the center of the arena, but it's also the worst thing to do at the very same time. And the reason why I say this is because when you place the princess in the center of the arena, it's just so easy to predict her with the miner, as compared to just varying her positions a little bit, because you can't even place her a little closer to the river, because if you do and your opponent has something ranged like a musketeer or a dart goblin, you're going to leave her exposed. If you put her closer to the crown towers there, you're going to be able to just be susceptible to spell damage. So again, it's a lose-lose situation. Once you know your opponent has princess in hand and they don't have something that they can protect her with, like let's say a knight, which is really solid overall, they're going to suffer quite a bit. Now take a look at this right now. I deal with the princess, and I'm also rushing here on the other side of that king tower there with my Valkyrie and my Goblin Gang, and what is this? We get yet another beautiful 3-crown there, folks. So things are looking pretty good right now. We're moving on to match number 4, and we're up against Salamander. Now Salamander is playing a giant loon deck, I believe here, and he has the mini P.E.K.K.A., which is not good news for us. He also has the minions, which can be really annoying for us to deal with once again here, because the minions are going to be able to distract our Inferno Dragon every time he readies them, and now we have to deal with a mini P.E.K.K.A. Now here's where he reveals his balloon, and I'm just screaming in my mind here so much. A level 7 balloon. Obviously, by the time this video is going out, we would have already seen the level changes and stuff going on and trade tokens. So yeah, That's pretty much a level 12 balloon for those of you viewing it in the future. But anyways, I give him the kiss face there. He used his best tank butcher there, so he's gonna be in a bit of a tight situation right now where he has to cycle back to that mini P.E.K.K.A there. He uses his minions there. The witch splashes away those minions there. He drops the mini P.E.K.K.A still into all of those skeletons there. I'm gonna send my miner up front while those skeletons are tanking. He opts to use those fire spirits, but I zap away the archers that remained, and now this is just GG as we manage to trade towers once again here. So we are 1-1. Things are looking pretty good overall, but I am still very worried about that pending balloon push that he has, because he did not reveal his giant just yet. So yeah, if we can push forward with the mini P.E.K.K.A and the balloon to give me that much health, I can't even begin to imagine how much pressure he would apply when he's pushing with his giant loon. And seeing that he's on full elixir, he decides to invest 5 elixir in a slow giant there so that he can then build up a mammoth push to come down our lane here. Now he has the archers selected here, so I'm just gonna try to poison those if I see the minions come down, but he decides to drop the mini P.E.K.K.A for my witch here. But take a look at this here. The skeletons were just really clutch right now here. The skeletons saved the witch from dying, and the giant went to town there, so that was really awesome there. So now I'm gonna send up my miner there in the back of his tower there just to make sure that he tanks for all of the skeletons and stuff that are coming down the lane there. I zap the minions there so that the witch can take care of them in one hit. I drop my giant so that the king tower will be distracted. I drop a second witch now just to apply much more pressure here, and at this point in time he has no real good play anymore. The mini P.E.K.K.A goes down really quickly there. He zaps. I quickly punish once again here with my goblin gang. There is nothing he can do at this point in time to come back, so once again we take yet another beautiful 3 crown there. So before we move on here, folks, I just want to make a quick mention of one thing here. If you haven't tried it already, make sure you check out the Spartan Elite Energy Drink. I'll have a link to their website in my description down below, and using my code you can get a discount on your next purchase, so make sure you check that out when you have the chance. Anyways, moving on to our next match. Now we are playing against another guy whose name I can't really pronounce, so we're just gonna have to call this guy Steve for now. So Steve has 3 musketeers, battle ram, and in addition to this, he's also packing a P.E.K.K.A. Now, P.E.K.K.A 3 musketeers is going to be something that is really annoying for me to deal with, and it's honestly really a pain in the butt to deal with, because P.E.K.K.A in general annoys me whenever I play against it in ladder, but I usually get around it with the miner. But seeing as he has the 3 musketeers, things are not going to be as straightforward. Now he does burn a log there, which means I could use my miner if I chose to there, but I held back there because I didn't want to overcommit just yet. I see he has those 2 musketeers coming down the lane there, and usually when a person is playing 3 musketeers, they'll have an elixir collector, so I was trying my best to keep my miner in hand, at least until I saw that pump go down, in which case I would then try to rush. Now, I wanted to cycle cards. I did not know he had P.E.K.K.A at that point in time, so there really isn't anything I could have done there. Now, he drops the elixir collector, so of course I'm going to go after that pump. Now, I tried to drop it in the middle of the crown tower there and the pump, but he does manage to predict the miner accurately there, but I did get some good poison value. I got rid of his goblin gang. I also caused him to waste a zap spell, so not too bad overall. And now we are just a minute and 30 seconds into our match here, so I'm getting ready with a giant witch push here once again. Now, he splits his 3 musketeers here, and I'm a little bit concerned. Again though, I do not know that he has this P.E.K.K.A. The P.E.K.K.A is going to be quite the surprise for me, because usually people have the minion horde in their deck along with miner and ice golem and stuff, but usually they don't run P.E.K.K.A. So when he drops the P.E.K.K.A there, I'm just like, damn, well played, dude. There isn't much I can do at this point in time, but the instant I see him drop that log, I'm ready to punish in the left lane there because he ignored my Valkyrie. I zap down one of the fire spirits there, not too bad. The tower retargets onto the goblins there, allowing my Valkyrie to get a few extra swings. So we're looking pretty decent right now. He dropped the goblin gang there, which does get splashed away a bit there. So again, we are in the lead right now thanks to his careless mistakes now. So things aren't looking too bad right now. He does drop that P.E.K.K.A, so I tried to pull the P.E.K.K.A into the opposite lane with some advanced miner tech, but I did fail miserably, unfortunately, because I placed the miner a little bit too close to the P.E.K.K.A there, so she didn't wander off too far from the giant and eventually went back in range. Now, I do manage to punish him once again because he burnt a log very carelessly again, so we have a Valkyrie goblin gang push there, aiming at that king tower there. We are trying our best now, and It would seem as though our patience was well rewarded as we got yet another 3-crown victory. So we're moving into our last match for today's video, and just a quick spoiler alert, this one actually wasn't a 3-crown victory. Unfortunately, it ended up in a 2-crown victory. So I just wanted to share this replay because I thought it was kind of fun overall, and against a mortar deck it can be really annoying, and I also wanted to get rid of my replays a little bit faster here, so I'm trying to wrap things up on this little series, and then I can show some random casual replays every now and then as well. So in this first sequence here, I made the mistake of dropping my Valkyrie into the same lane. I should have dropped her in the opposite lane, but then again, if I did that, the Inferno Dragon would have been distracted by those goblins there, so not too bad overall. He's gonna drop those archers there, which is poison value for me. He fireballs the Inferno Dragon, trying to reset it. Not a bad play overall. I give him the well played there, and now we're gonna get ready to set up with our giant witch push once again, but I'm also conscious that he has that mortar, so I'm trying to wait around a little bit there just to see when he does decide to drop that mortar. So right now I'm going to set up with a witch in the back there and hopefully push up with a giant there, because I did see him burn a fireball, and most mortar decks don't have too heavy spells. So yeah, I thought it was a safe play to make that witch in the back there, and then he drops his mortar into the opposite lane, which was pretty good for me. So I can freely push into the opposite lane here with my giant, distracting that mortar in the process there and making life so much easier to get rid of his mortar in the process. Now my witch does die very easily because of the mortar splashing it and him logging it, but we did get some solid damage with our giant. Now here comes another tricky situation to defend here. I'm going to drop my Inferno Dragon and Goblin Gang there. This allows me to distract the mortar just long enough here so that my Inferno Dragon is able to burn it down to a crisp, and we do pretty good overall. Now I could have zapped those goblins, but that wasn't really going to do me much good. I decided to keep my elixir in hand there, and I'm waiting for his next play. So I'm going to send in my miner for some chip damage, and I'm waiting to see when he drops his mortar next. So we have a decent lead on that right side tower, so I am definitely going to be pushing into that right lane now, and seeing that he dropped his mortar, it just makes it that much easier for me. So I'm going to defend here with my one Inferno Dragon. He drops more archers there into the mix, so I send in a Valkyrie there. I zap everything there just to make sure that the archers retarget there. He zaps down my Inferno Dragon as well now, so that mortar is going to survive just a little bit there and get a shot or two on my tower, which is quite unfortunate, but 1 or 2 shots in the grand scheme of things is not going to matter too much because of the sheer amount of damage that I've been able to deal throughout the course of the match. Now he does fireball my witch there, but he does miss that single skeleton, and that single skeleton does come back to bite him a little bit there until the crown tower or something else managed to take it down, but we still break his towers there, and now the timer runs out, and that brings us to the end of today's matches. So with that folks, that is going to do it for today's video. Overall, we're just going to fly through some old chest openings of mine here. So in the meantime folks, I just want to ask, what do you guys think of the content so far? Do you guys think I'm improving in any ways? And what are your thoughts on the new types of content that I've been trying to put out, like the top 7 win conditions video that I did recently, the emote video as well. I'm just really eager to hear what you all have to say about that. So please, before you click away from this video here today, I'd really appreciate it if you guys just take some time, drop a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on how I've been performing overall. So with that being said there folks, like ratings are always appreciated, so if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, feel free to give it a downvote as well. But regardless of which choice you make, please do drop a comment letting me know what influenced your thoughts on doing so. So anyways, that is going to do it for today's video. As always folks, remember, if you keep on digging, you'll eventually strike gold, but even then, keep on digging deeper. You'll eventually come across something even more worth your while. So with that being said there, thank you all so much for spending some time with me here today, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out guys.